is Brian from Project Adyton. Got another big rig update to do since my last video. Jump in and talk about the guitars first. Okay, this is my guitar case, Scott Dixon case, the 3-guitar trolley. Case is unbelievable. If you saw my last video, I talked about it a little bit. It works as the guitar stand, of course, obviously. First guitar in here, it's an LTD 330. We use this on one song where we do a drop D tuning. It's 56 gauge string on the low end. Great guitar, sounds pretty good. Most of what we play is in a drop B tuning. This is my backup guitar. ESP Eclipse, satin finish, the gold trim on it, gold accents. 70 gauge string on the low end on this for the drop B tuning. EMG pickups. Then this is my main guitar. Another ESP Eclipse. It's the blue finish on it, black hardware. Again, EMG pickups. 70 gauge string on the low end again for the drop B tuning. Love this guitar, it's great. Okay, for my cabinets, I'm using two Mesa Boogie 4x12 rectifier cabs with the straight fronts. There is a amp clamp mic mount on the front with a Sennheiser E906 permanently mounted there, and then all the road cases are from bradycases.com, all custom work. They do unbelievable stuff. So let's get into the rack a little bit. Okay, starting at the top, we got the Furman Power Conditioner PL Pro DMC. It's the 20 amp model. Next is two G90 wireless units from line 6. Whirlwind multi-selector. The way this is wired up now, I can pick which wireless I'm using depending on which guitar, whether we're in the drop B or the drop D tuning. Switch to a regular cable if the wirelesses fail on me, and then a master mute for the whole rig. Out of the Whirlwind, we go to the ESP Decimator Pro Rack G. Like I said in my last video, this thing's unbelievable. Keeps everything nice and tight, doesn't squash any notes. My preamp is Mesa Boogie Triaxis. For my distortion channel, I'm using the Lead 2 Green, which is a Mesa Boogie Mark IV. And then the clean tone is actually the Rhythm Green channel in conjunction with the head at the bottom. Next, I've got a Pod HD Pro. Not using any amp simulation out of that, just for some effects here and there. Then is the Mesa Boogie high gain amp switcher, which I can explain more in a little detail in a second. And then there's two Mesa Boogie Rectifier Stereo 2100s. The top one is the primary, the bottom one's just a backup. And then on the very bottom here is a Roland JC-120 head. Okay, so the way this is wired up is that the pod will MIDI out into the Triaxis. So when I change channels using the pod foot switch, it'll change channels on the Triaxis. When the channels change on the Triaxis actually controls the high gain amp switcher. So when channels change on the Triaxis, it's actually going to tell the power amps which combination of the Triaxis and the Roland and the pedal drawer here to do. Okay, this is the pedal drawer. It's the SKB rack drawer. We got the Earthquaker Palisades, like I said. I only use that with the distortion channel, just to give it a little bit of extra kind of high end, tighten the high end up a little bit. And then there's two Lehle P-splitters. They'll split the final signal coming out of the amp switcher before it goes down to the power amps. So the same stereo signal coming out of this is going down to both power amps. Okay, this is the back of the rack. There's a dolly on the bottom and on the back of the case, so it can be pushed upright or we can tilt it down and push it laying on its back. It's easier to get it in and out of a van that way. It's got locking casters on both the back and the bottom. If you saw my last video, I had a shorter rack that had a jack panel on it, kind of like this. This is a beefed up version. Starting here, we've got the 1/4-inch jack. If both wirelesses go down for some crazy reason, this is where my regular cable will plug in. Next is the Cat 5 cable for the foot controller for the line 6. And then there's two XLR jacks. They come straight out of the pod. If I need to run direct for any reason, if both power amps went down, or in-ear monitors, or anything I would need to run direct for, I can just plug in my cables. It's already already wired up. Then across the bottom here, there's 4 1/4-inch jacks. These are for the 4 outputs of the power amps. Right now the primary power amp is plugged in, of course, but if for some reason that went down, you can just flip it to standby, move these 2 cables to the next position there, throw the backup amp out of standby, and I'm good to go. Over here is a PowerCon locking power connection, kind of like a speak-on cable. There's 2 of them here again. One's for backup, so if the jack got damaged while we're moving around or anything, I can just move it over and keep going. Okay, there's 4 fans on the back of the case. 2 up top for the rack, and then there's 2 down the bottom for the Roland head. One's blowing out, one's sucking air in just to keep everything circulating. And there's also a latch here that if we had to run any cables into the rack for some reason, we could do that too without disrupting everything. So let's take a look inside. Okay, this is inside the back of the rack. Right here is where the jack panel on the other side was, obviously. They're all solderless connections. It's just kind of a plug and play, pass through jack kind of thing. It makes it easier. We can just plug it in, don't have to break out the soldering iron. This is the power section for the 4 fans, and where the PowerCon cable plugs through the other side and then feeds the back of the rack. It does get pretty hot back here, but the fans keep it under control. There's like 27, I think, tubes in this whole system. There's 16 6L6s between the 2 power amps. Each power amp has 3 12AX7s in it also for the presence controls and whatnot, and then there's 5 12AX7s in the Triaxis. So we're using the braided split loom for all the cables to either keep some stuff grouped together or some stuff separated. All the power runs up the left side. Audio is either in the middle or on the right side there. The blue lights look cool from the front when it's on stage, but it's annoying back here if you're trying to work on stuff. So there's a dial control here that you can actually kind of have any color. We'll switch it to white when I'm actually trying to see what's going on back here. So yeah, that's pretty much the back of the rack. Okay, one other kind of cool thing, down on the very bottom of the case there's a drawer. Hold all the accessories for the rig, anything that I would need. It fits the Line 6 foot controller when we're not using it or if I'm transporting the rack. Backup cables for everything. This is the snake that I made for to run from the power amps to the 4x12s. Extra Cat 5 speak-on cable for the PowerCon. Using the Apple rechargeable batteries. These things are phenomenal. Last a lot longer than regular AA's and a lot longer than most rechargeable batteries. They charge up pretty quick. Those things are awesome. Extra 9-volt batteries, 3 guitars running active pickups. It's good to have some 9 volts, and then a bunch of extra regular AA's and the rechargeables that are already charged up, ready to go. And a little toolkit, everything I'd need. Extra strings, we're using the GHS boomers, like I said, 70 gauge on my main-guitars. All kinds of tools, added small Gerber multi-tool to it, and a flashlight just in case. Okay, so this is my main distortion sound. It's coming from the Triaxis, the lead 2 green channel, which is the Mesa Boogie Mark IV. You can really hear how the Decimator kind of influences what's going on with the Triaxis, just the way that it doesn't squash any notes, but there's no hum, no hiss, no feedback, unless you want to dial back the amount that it's cutting, just so you can get a little bit of like accent feedback. But it's live right now, and you don't hear any hum, any hiss, so let's check it out. So the Decimator is going to give you the really tight or the longer drawn out. So works pretty well. Okay, up next is my clean sound. It's a mix between the Triaxis and the Roland JC-120. Okay, the foot switch has 4 channels on it. Those are my main 2 sounds. I use a little bit of effects, but nothing really too crazy. Tremolo on a couple of songs. And then there's a whammy effect that we use on a few songs. I'm using the Intune GP 0.88mm big triangle picks. If you're not familiar with Intune GP, I'll put a link below. But they do, you know, the custom work to put your logo and signature and whatever on the picks. The 0.88mm gives me enough kind of bite to dig into those 70 gauge strings like I was talking about. So I love these things. I want to say what's up real quick to Derek and Justin from the Tone Control. If you love rig videos and watch this one through to this point, you'd love what they're doing. The Tone Control podcast on iTunes will talk about new gear coming out, guitars, amps, effects, just anything guitar related. Definitely check it out. ToneControlShow.com. Definitely go there, support those guys. They're doing some good work over there. We're going to end this video with a song that my band Project Adyton just recorded called 01. Use this rig on it and use pretty much all the sounds that I talked about. So check it out. Hope you like it. Leave me some comments. Let me know what you thought, and make another video soon.